It's the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast with Nick and my beautiful wife, Amy. Welcome to the podcast. We're excited to share my wife's wisdom with you today. Now, today's
We're
episode,
sharing everyone else's wisdom today. We're not, this isn't even our wisdom. This is our audience's wisdom today. So
yeah.
thank you. If you took our poll on Instagram, thank you because we have lots of answers on our poll.
So today's podcast is the best marriage advice you've ever been given that actually works. We don't want to hear your advice if it doesn't work. And I think Amy was scrolling through and saw my mom left something in there. So that'll be great to see what my mom's advice is.
Mom is a supporter. She follows us and she even gave us her piece of advice. So, yeah, are we just going to jump into this?
I think so. Yeah, let's read a bunch of them and talk about them.
Yeah.
Good marriage advice. So, I mean,
Okay, I didn't ask everyone to give good marriage advice. I asked them to give their best piece of marriage advice. Their best.
so
So they're picking off like
so
the top
you're getting the
things.
top 10. Like this is the
Yeah,
top 10 list. Yeah.
this is the top number one list on everyone's list. Okay, so to have a great, passionate marriage, first person said, this is from a husband. Put your spouse before your kids.
Oh,
We've
we
never
talk
said
about that
that.
all the
No,
time.
we've never said that before.
Man,
Just all the time.
we could
Spouse before kids.
we could end on that one, and that would be a great podcast.
Podcast over. Put your spouse before your kids. You'll have a happy marriage. Why are so many people against this?
Well, and not only that, it's funny that we hear from couples that are on their second marriage and they say, well, why would I do that if my first marriage didn't succeed? What if I lose? What if I get a divorce again? My kids need to be important to me. And we're like, probably the whole reason your first marriage didn't succeed is because you were putting your kids first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't make that same mistake.
I know I've already said this. We already have multiple podcast episodes on this exact topic. My kids take more time than Nick does, much more time. Not talking about time, talking about intention, right? So, anyways, I don't think we dive into this, but I think that, like, I literally don't understand. Like, if you love your kids, they need that strong marriage foundation. Like, they deserve that. Like, I can get heated up on this one pretty easy, but if you love your kids, like they deserve to be in a home where the atmosphere is peaceful, where it's loving, where the parent you as parents are kind to each other and unified together. Like that home foundation is the best peaceful gift that you can give your children. And so when people say, I'm putting my kids first, like you're hurting your relationship and your marriage,
Oh,
probably.
totally.
You're not prioritizing your spouse, and your whole entire attitude in your home is probably a little bit off.
Well, and your kids will see that when you put them first, it'll cause a lot of conflict between the two of you. Your kids will see when you're prioritizing them first, and they'll take that to their advantage.
Right. There's a lot to say on this, but I have a hard time. I think that moms that don't understand this are thinking that we're talking about spending time. Like it has nothing to do with time. So, anyways, that's
another subject. Go listen to our other podcast on that.
But I love that. So
I
love that one. That's probably number one. Okay, comes from another husband. Be in the zone together always. When you're not feeling it, do it. When you're fighting, love each other. Actually, I don't know if that's a husband or a wife. Either way, be in the zone together always. When you're not feeling it, do it. I know Nick loves that piece of advice.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Really?
When you're not, and you don't feel like it, do it. Trying to think. Anyways, I'm clueless.
Yeah, sure you are. I love that. I actually think this was from a wife, so I was shocked by that.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense then.
No, it doesn't. It makes perfect sense. Like when you're not in the mood to do something you don't want to do, if you know what we're referring to, sometimes just doing it can totally bring that emotional connection back into your marriage. Obviously, if you're already in a loving, healthy relationship, right?
I can't tell you how many times I've not been in the mood and I've done it and I just feel fantastic.
That's never happened to you. Anyways, are you ready for another? Well, this is the advice that we gave when we sent out this poll was When we first got married at our wedding, someone said fight naked.
And we've never done that.
I'm like, I've actually heard that from several people, but like, who in their right mind just like, I'm gonna rip my clothes off because we're fighting? Like,
Let's get into
that is the
this.
last thing I'm going to do. But I can absolutely see how you like, you probably end up like laughing during your argument or rolling your eyes,
So
or I don't know.
we can't say that's the best piece of advice we've been given because we've never done
We've
it.
never done it, and probably, I'm not gonna lie, probably not gonna do
Probably
it.
not gonna do.
Probably not gonna happen in our marriage,
I'm
but
I'm not against it, but like it just probably isn't gonna happen. If Amy's mad at me,
probably not gonna rip your clothes off.
she's not letting those clothes come off.
I don't know about let. I don't think I have control over that, but probably
Well,
not
you
going to
have
be like
control over that,
excited about
absolutely.
it. If you're listening and you have done this piece of advice, you've actually tried this,
Let us know if it works. Maybe we don't know what we're missing.
maybe, but not even for us. Like you should email us so that we can add this to our weekly newsletter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Like we need you to email us about the how that worked out for you.
Yeah, how did that work?
How did that work out for you? The next one, I love this piece of advice. I would actually give this one. Sometimes going to bed angry is gold. It gives time to calm down. Okay, I don't want to get into like the attachment styles and everything because I've heard like this can be really hurtful if one person is into this and the other person needs like that secure attachment, like they need that secure attachment. Like they don't like when the one person could go to bed mad and the other one's like hurting and like it's devastating to them that you're like upset and you can go to sleep on that.
Well,
But so it depends on personality in your marriage is what I'm trying to say. But like for me, like I love this.
I was gonna say for some people this advice could be great, and for some people this advice could be detrimental. It could be
Right.
really, really
Right.
bad.
Some people could be super hurt. Like, how can you go to bed when we're in an argument like this? Like, how could you do that? For us, we've learned, like, for me personally, like, if
Yeah, you should say for you.
for me,
Yeah,
are you the
Amy's.
person that like gets bugged by that?
No, I like to talk things out and have
You
conversations.
do.
I'm probably a little bit different in the relationship. Like Amy's like, you're more like a woman. Like you like to talk
True.
and cuddle after making love and this and that.
On
So
Mike and I.
Amy's like, all right. But that's okay. But Amy's okay going to bed angry. And she's okay and sleeping it
Not
off. And I
anymore.
think
Not anymore. Like, this was back in our past when we actually like were fighting quite a bit. Like we have disagreements and we there's definitely times where we're like kind of snappy or something, but like we don't fight anymore. Like we're past that. Like we've gotten in our marriage where it's like I'm mad at this reason. Why are you mad? Let's fix this. Like that's kind of where we're at. We've kind of figured that out. But we were really toxic when it came to fighting and we would do silent treatment and all that. Blah. So horrible. But I learned during the season when things were really, really hard and we were arguing a ton that when I went to bed, if I'm mad at something and I went to bed and I slept it off, I'd wake up the next morning usually and be like, that was so stupid. I'm glad that I didn't lash out on him. Like I can say that.
mhm.
So, like you said, I think for different personality types and
Yeah.
for different marriages, this would work or not work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just good to communicate it and say, you know
Mhm.
what, I need to sleep and think about this.
Hopefully, this
Nothing
will kind
against
of,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
die
for sure.
down by the time I wake up and this won't even be a big thing anymore, right?
Yep.
Um, okay. Next piece of advice. Men don't expect a woman to be a man. Women don't expect a man to be the woman. I love
I like
that.
that too.
I love that. I think that this is really important in society today. I feel like the
I do too.
femininity and the masculine is starting to kind of like I feel like women are having to take on a lot of roles they didn't used to have to take on, and it's killing their feminine side, and vice versa. There's a
Well,
balance. There's a balance.
there is, and we're not saying at all like there can't be some overlap because there
Right.
certainly can. But you're exactly right. When women are trying to get men to be more like them or vice versa, like we're wired completely differently. Like I think
Mhm.
about different things and worry about different things than Amy worries about. And that's probably
Really?
a good thing in a lot of ways, right? Like I have certain desires that are different than your desires, or like we are wired differently and have different needs and things like that too. And I think that's a natural thing. Like it's natural for me to have the attributes of a man, and it's natural for you to have the attributes of a woman. And
I think that's how God created it, and
yeah,
that's what makes a marriage peaceful. So when a man is expecting a wife to do things that like pull her out of her feminine side, that's gonna mess up the marriage. Like it
like
wasn't created like that, and vice versa.
like Amy's a lot more of a nurturer to the kids than I am. And that doesn't mean that I'm insensitive and I'm a horrible dad and anything like that. Like I would say 90% of the women are probably more of the nurturers in the
Mhm.
household, and we as men are built differently. And there's a reason for that, and thank goodness there is a reason for that. I think a
Mhm.
lot of times that means men might be more in the role of like disciplining and different, maybe a little bit harder, right? Or whatever that is. My point is we're made that way, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love in all of that, all
Mhm.
around. Getting back to that, that is a
I think
great
it's a great
advice. Yeah.
comment. I think it's a great comment. And to add to that, um, don't expect your man to be a woman. We're not saying don't be vulnerable, husbands. That doesn't make you a woman to be vulnerable with your feelings. You can be a very masculine man and still be open to sharing your fears, your dreams, desires, those kind of things. That's what makes you best friends.
Yeah.
So I think once again, this comes down to balance,
Yep.
right?
For sure.
Okay, the next piece of advice was be patient. Don't take out your bad day on your spouse and make it their day bad too. Yeah,
That's good.
that's a good piece of advice. Be patient can be super hard. And sometimes when you're in a bad mood, you're having an awful day, it's hard not to like bring that home, right? And not like lay that on your spouse because like if you are best friends, like we are in our marriage, like a lot of my insecurities or issues or my attitude kind of gets dumped on him sometimes and vice versa. So yeah, you want your spouse to be like your safe place where you're able to like share like those feelings and those kind of things, but also your spouse isn't just your dumping place. Right? Like there's just balance in that one too.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
I like that.
You have something to add to that? No.
No, I think that's great.
Okay.
I was thinking a lot as you were talking about it. I just overall, yeah, that's great advice.
Okay. Think before you speak, and if you can't think, then don't speak.
Love it. We I do this on the podcast all the time, but a lot of times you say something and then you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. Right. I heard someone say this the other day, and I've noticed it a lot more. And they said if you look at the really, really smart people, they talk slowly. And when you ask them a question, instead of really quick to respond, they think about things for a few seconds and then they
Mm,
respond when they're ready. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. How often do we just, whether
mm.
we're in an argument or something with our spouse, we just shoot off something real quick. I think just pausing, thinking about things and being really slow to react is a good thing.
I must be dumb because I'm quick to react.
Well, it has nothing to do with being smart or dumb. I'm just
Just smarter people
It's
think
just,
about stuff more.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like, and
I,
we're talking like,
right.
and I think he was talking about like Elon Musk or something at the time. Like, notice how slow he answers questions, and I was like, yeah, he does. He takes like 20 seconds to respond to a question, but he's
Interesting.
really he's really thinking about, okay,
Mm,
what's the way to respond to this? And I think if we did that in marriage more, instead of just firing back at our spouse real
right.
quick, it'd make
I
it.
think also to add to that one is if you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all. I have to tell my teenage daughters this all the time, like while they lash out at each other over stupid crap.
And it doesn't work.
Like literally just hold your tongue. And we're speaking to married couples that are adults. Like you're adults. Don't say it to your spouse if it isn't kind. It's not that hard. Just zip it. Best marriage advice. Don't say it if it's going to hurt their feelings, right? Like
Yeah,
that should be common
for
sense.
sure.
But okay, try and find time to just be present with each other. No distractions, just each other. Um, that sounds like so simple and like, well, yeah, duh. But phones are wrecking marriages right now, like wrecking, like at a scale that's unbelievable. And we are losing what being present means in society. Like being present. Like that means put it all away and focus on each other. I don't know how many couples can truly do that anymore.
Agreed.
So that's amazing advice. That's amazing advice. Pray together. What was the stats on praying together?
Yeah, like 1 in 1,500 couples who pray together will get divorced. So if you pray together, your chances of getting divorced are like 1 in 15,000 versus, 50%.
Yep.
So
Next piece. On our wedding video, guests gave advice. The only thing I remember was always have two bathrooms.
okay.
Okay. That's a good, yeah. If you can afford two bathrooms in your home, that's great. I I don't know that I have much to say on that one.
I don't have anything to say on that one.
Sometimes I love it when he just like leaves my bathroom and it's mine. So I get that. Communicate, communicate, communicate. So many problems can be resolved. So much clarified.
I
The
agree with that.
minute, I gotta add to that. It's not just communicate, it's communicate healthy. And communication comes with listening and caring.
Hmm.
Like you're only truly communicating. This is only gonna work if you're listening and you're caring about what they're saying. I think sometimes when we think of communicate, it's just like talking, like talk to each other. It's not about talking. Like he could talk to me all day long. If I don't care about what he's saying, that is nothing for my relationship.
Agreed. Yeah.
But the minute in our marriage when things were really hard and we were started communicating and we started really trying to listen to each other, understand each other's sides and feelings, and like care about how each other was feeling and try to change the things that were causing the problems, that's when communication turned our marriage
For
around,
sure.
right? It's how you
Agreed.
do it.
Yeah.
Stay physically close when disagreeing, in conflict, hold hands, cuddle, etc. We have some friends that literally just help people marriages with like conflict. And that was their biggest piece of advice was to, hey, still touch your spouse even when you're like disagreeing or having like a fight or something. Like show them that you still love them, that you're still like secure, that the relationship's good, everything's going to be fine. You're just got to get over this
Hmm.
thing, right? And so physical contact is big. Um Put God first even before each other and children, which all includes praying together. Yep, talked
That's
about
good.
that already. Yep. Use the marriage advice that works for you as a couple, not because it worked for someone else. Yeah, I totally agree. Like some of these, like we said, are
Some
going to
might
work for
work
some
great.
people
Yep.
and some things will work for someone else. Be friends first.
Agree with
Love
that.
it. Love it. We talked about this in a previous podcast recently. Like if you want a passionate marriage, it starts with friendship. Like if you're feeling
If
disconnected or like roommates in your marriage, you got to go back to the basics like how do we become friends first again?
Yeah. If you're good friends, you're probably going to have a passionate marriage.
Right.
But you're not going to have a passionate marriage if you're not good
If you're not good
friends.
friends, right. Be kind like you would be to a stranger. Isn't it interesting how we can be more disrespectful to our own spouse, the person that we chose to spend our entire life with, but we'll be nice to everyone else. I hear this one a lot.
We don't even know.
Like
Yeah.
why I get comments a lot like it's so funny, my wife will treat everyone so amazing. Then the minute I walk in the door, it's like lashes out. And I'm like, yeah, it's like our podcast episode, is it 111? Can't remember. If you wouldn't say it to your boss
Yeah.
or someone
Yep.
else,
111.
don't say it to your spouse. Like
Yep. That
that's
was a good
key.
one.
That's a good quote. Keep holding hands. It's difficult to be too upset with someone while you're holding hands. I've never done that one. But I think that if you were arguing and you looked at each other and you held hands together, it would change the entire tone of your
Yeah.
argument.
Or if you were on a walk and you were talking about a subject that was maybe
Right.
contentious. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I that just automatically shows, hey, we're in love. Let's figure this out together. We're teammates, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. Let's read a couple more. I think
Okay.
these are really, really good.
Okay. If times are hard, focus on getting back to being each other's best friends again. Just said that.
Yep.
But that's really what comes down to is like go figure out how to like turn that friendship around. Like,
Well, and if, for the couples out there listening that, don't have the
mhm,
marriage they want, you can probably look at that and say, well, we're not really good friends, right? Like
right,
maybe we don't enjoy being with each other like we used to, or we're not dating or whatever.
right. I like this one. Gosh, never lie. Not even a small white lie. Be honest, talk everything out.
Yeah. That's
I
that's
know. The only time
absolutely.
I lied to Nick is when we were playing board games and we told each other I was gonna win a back rub and I cheated so I could have the back rub and then I felt guilty.
The next day, yeah. She's like, oh, by
I
the
literally
way, I
was driving
cheated.
somewhere and I was like, "Oh, I feel so guilty for last night." He's like, what? And I'm like, I cheated on the game last night so that you'd give me that back rub. He's like, I would have given that to you anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I just want you to know I felt guilty. I know that's a dumb situation, but I totally, yes, just be honest.
So I've never been
Be
able to
honest.
trust
I know
her ever since for 20.
it's only once.
I'm joking.
That's
She
what
knows I'm
happens.
joking.
You break trust once and then, yeah.
She knows I'm joking.
Okay. Um, To all the guys out there, all good deeds reset at midnight.
All good deeds.
All good deeds reset at midnight. Okay, this is how I'm going to take
I don't know
this
what
one.
that means.
That means that you can't just do something one day and be like, I just scored all these points, and then think that it's going to
Oh,
carry
yeah,
on
yeah,
for
yeah.
like weeks. Like, I think what they're saying is
If you,
it's got to be consistent. Like, do good things for your wife like daily. It's not
yeah,
like a once
I
a
agree
week
with
and then
that.
like, oh, I chalked up all these points. Now I don't have to do these things for a few days.
Yeah, I agree.
Is
That's good
that what you're
advice.
saying? Okay.
That sounds great. Yeah,
Okay, the next two say never stop having sex, and the next one says schedule sex.
I agree with both of those.
I agree. If you want a passionate marriage, I agree with those. If you want a horrible marriage, then yeah, that don't take that advice then. Um, Scheduling sex, go back and listen to our episode on that. If you haven't, we talk all about why we actually decided it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first we're like, why would someone do that?
Schedule.
That's so
Wow, that's
stupid.
yeah, it's supposed to be spontaneous, but
Yeah. How fun is
as
that?
we've been married longer, we realize that it's never spontaneous anymore. It just isn't, right? Like I'm
I mean, yeah, maybe we'll talk about it a couple hours before or something, but
yeah.
still, it's not, yeah. Let's see. Consider what drives you nuts. What do you hate, and can you live with that forever? Um, what was that meaning? Consider what drives you nuts, what you hate, and what you can live with that. Can you live
That
with
must
that
be,
forever?
deciding before they got married. Deciding can you
Yeah,
live with
yeah,
that
maybe.
forever?
Okay. And I'm gonna add to this one. Maybe if something's driving you nuts, is it something you can let go, or is it something that's like literally gonna like, do you need to talk about it, right? Instead of letting all these little things fester. I think
Yeah, just like
we did a
blowing up.
podcast episode on pet peeves, and we all get bugged by things, no doubt. Like we're guilty of that too, but
I bugged you before?
never. Never. We're all guilty of that. So it's kind of like, okay, like, do I really need to make a big deal of this? Like, no. If it's something so dumb, we just have to learn to just be like, okay, I do things that bug too. Like, just let it go. Just let it
Yeah.
go, right? I'm just gonna try and find. There's so many, you guys. You left so many comments. Uh, God at the center, always have tough conversations, no matter how hard it is.
Agreed.
We can't not say that enough. Like if you can't talk about sex in your marriage, you need to. That changes everything. If you can talk about that, you
You
can
can
talk
talk about
about
almost
everything
anything.
else. You can talk about everything else. So just rip that band-aid off. I totally agree with that one.
That's one of the reasons we do podcasts on
Right.
this subject is so that we have to keep talking about it, or we
Right.
get to keep talking about it.
Marry your best friend, talk every day, not just about your day, listen to each other, understand each other, no secrets, know your spouse's love language, never stop dating each other. My husband's grandfather is known for his marriage advice, simply being ... be kind, period.
Yeah.
Before you go to sleep, look into each other's eyes, make sure everything is okay. You can tell by looking at your spouse if they're okay or not. And if you can't, then you need to dig deeper. I love this one. I'm going to end on this one. Work on yourself.
I like that.
I think sometimes we're always like, work on the marriage, work on the marriage, work on the marriage, work on
Something's
this,
wrong with
work on
you.
this. Something's wrong with you. Like our marriage, most of the time, if two people would go work on themselves, the marriage would get better.
Well, and we did a podcast on this. If we said if something's wrong with your marriage, look inward, and a
Right.
lot of times, what are we causing? What are we causing within the relationship, or if the relationship's not where we want it to be, we have to take some accountability on
Right.
our end as well too. And so
Right.
I love that advice. Look inward. If your relationship isn't what you want it to be, maybe before pointing the finger at your
Hmm.
spouse, maybe just take some honest soul searching and saying, what am I doing or what am I not doing? And what can I do better at to make our relationship the relationship we both want it to be?
And I would add to that, what can I do for myself to be happier? Like maybe you're struggling with depression or anxiety, or you're sad about something, or you need something and you've been putting yourself on the back burner. Sometimes like putting yourself up higher on a priority list can actually benefit your entire marriage, because when you come into your marriage happy and positive and uplifted, whatever you needed to feel like that, to a healthy balance, like that can add tremendously to the atmosphere in your relationship. And
100%. I'm glad you.
I think women are really good at like putting themselves at the bottom and like, I got to take care of my kids, I got to take care of the house, I got to take care of my husband, I got to be this great wife. And they forget about themselves, and all of a sudden they're burned out. They are tired. They do have headache. Like, because they've let themselves go, they forget who they are, and doing stuff for themselves that brings happiness. And that is 100%, and it goes both ways,
We,
gonna affect your
you
relationship.
got to find a good balance there because
Agreed.
as you were saying that, I was also thinking there are some women and men too,
That
but
are too much,
that
yeah.
are way overboard and it's
About
all about
them.
them. And so you got to find that good balance. So
It's
just good,
all,
healthy
I think
balance.
everything that was shared today was literally about balance.
Yeah,
Like it's all about balance, right? So,
agreed.
yeah.
So hopefully this can be helpful for you in your relationship. We only got through a fraction of them.
Mhm.
Wish we could have got through more, but you get the idea. Um, hope you enjoy the podcast and until next time.